Hey, it's Erin from Book Things and Baubles, and today I am going to experiment with centering things on the Glowforge. So I have kind of struggled with centering things in the Glowforge for a long time. There's been times in the past where, I get a project set up, I center it, I do all this stuff, and then I go to print it and it shifts over to the side. So I've been trying to figure out for a while how to actually get things centered with the Glowforge. So I think I've come up with a pretty foolproof method to try. So that's what we're going to try out today. So some proof that I have been struggling with this is this little coin. I don't know if you can see it. So the first side turned out great, because I got the wood in there, I printed it, I cut it out in there, and then I just went in and flipped it over and then tried to line up the name as best I could with the circle. And as you can see, it definitely shifted center. And so that's something that I struggle with the Glowforge. So my idea of how to do this is in Inkscape, and to use the different colors for different functions of the Glowforge to our advantage, and the ability to ignore certain features at certain times, and then to actually use certain features at certain times. This is what I'm going to be testing it on, so let's get started. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got some circles and then some kind of messy stuff in the middle. Basically, I have a star and then something that says test. So in Inkscape, I made every single thing a different color. So the circle is one color, the letters of test are another color, and the star is another color. Basically, when everything is a different color, Glowforge sees it as needing a different function, which is exactly what I want. So I'm going to put in my size, which I think this is about 1.25 inches thick, and then enter the settings. I already have the cardboard settings saved. So basically, with all of the different colors, you're able to pick different functions. So you can do engrave, cut, score, or ignore. So we're going to use this ignore to our advantage. So to start off, I'm going to ignore the stars, which means that the Glowforge will not do anything with the stars. Next, I am going to do a cardboard box engrave for the word test. And here are my settings in case you want those. So it's 950 speed, full power, and just one pass. And then we are going to cut the circles. And so I'm going to use my cardboard box cut, which here are those settings. It's 180 speed, 60 power, and one pass. And so now we are just going to print and see how these turn out. And now what we're going to do is flip each circle over and put it back in its hole without hopefully moving anything. Okay, now all we have to do is go in and on the word test, hit ignore, and then on the circle, hit ignore. So now the Glowforge is going to ignore the circle and the text, and now we want to have it engrave the star. So on the star, I'm going to do cardboard box engrave. So as you can see, this is kind of what I was talking about, right? So here in the middle, the circle that we know has already been cut out and the circle that is shown are all lined up nicely. But the further out we get, you can see that the circle that has been cut out by the Glowforge and the circle of the actual file are kind of different and kind of off. So you might be tempted to scoot this over so that it lines up with that, and you would think that, okay, so now that would be centered, but I don't think that's the case. So since we haven't touched anything and haven't moved anything, my hope is that as we print this, that the stars will be perfectly center on the back of each of the circles. Okay, here is the final product. I am very happy with how this turned out. I think it is perfectly centered on the back and perfectly centered on the front. So again, the steps are: number 1, making your design. Number 2, having different colors for different sides of the design and different elements of the design. So cutting out, engraving, scoring, all that good stuff. And then number 3, just putting it actually in the Glowforge and doing one side at a time and telling the Glowforge to ignore the back side until you're ready for it, and then flip the whatever you're working with, and then you ignore the first side and print the second side. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it helpful and that it maybe gave you some new ideas of how you can use files and your Glowforge to get the best results. If you have any questions about the Glowforge or about Inkscape, which is the program I use to make all of my Glowforge files, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I will do my best to answer the questions for you. I hope that you're having a great day and that things are going well for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.